Hello, I'm Sarang Thor. Today I'm going to read a new book, which is Biscuits, Adam Blade. Biscuits, Adam Blade. Taras, the horseman. Ba 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 ba. Number 4. Sure is one. Avantia. Welcome to the kingdom of Avantia. I am Aduro, a good wizard, visiting the palace of King Hugo. You join us at a difficult time. Let me explain. The ancient scripts say that our peaceful kingdom shall one day be plunged into power. Now that time has come. Under the evil spell of Marvel, the dark wizard, 6 beasts, fire dragon, sea serpent, mountain giant, horseman, snow monster, and flame bird run wild and destroy the land they once protected. Avantia is in danger, but the ancient script also predicts an unlikely hero. It is written that a boy shall take up the quest to free the beasts from the curse and save the kingdom. We do not know who this boy is. We need that this time has come. We pray our young hero will have the courage and the heart to take up the quest. Will you join us as we wait and watch Avantia seduce you? Aduro. Prologue. Victor walked with a start. Grabbing his sword, he sat up and looked around wisely. It was just before dawn, and the sky was beginning to lighten in the east. The coals from last night's campfire were still glowing. Victor surveyed the shadowy plains and the herd of cattle. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Must have been a bad dream, he thought, and set his bag onto his bedroom. But he couldn't sleep. In the last week, there had been 3 attacks on cattle during the night. In the last attack, 4 calves had been killed. No one knew for what was responsible. Victor wasn't sure what to think, but he was certainly glad the night was almost over. He only had to keep watch over the herd until the morning. The men were all asleep beside their own campfires away from the cattle. He listened to the sounds of the plains. There was a slight breeze rustling the tall grasses, and he could hear the last of the crickets chirping softly. Then a bird called out over the lowing cattle. Wait a minute, that isn't right. The cattle should be sleeping, not lowing. Sitting up, Victor looked closely at his herd. The cattle were huddled together, more tightly than usual, with their calves grouped in the center, a sign that they felt threatened. But why? Just then Victor heard the sound of hoofs drumming in the distance. Was it just his imagination? The cattle began to stamp restlessly. Victor leaped to his feet. The hoofs were growing closer. Something was out there. Then a large shape loomed out of the darkness in front of him. Suddenly, standing before him in the red glow of the campfire was a horrifying beast. Victor gasped. The monster had the torso of a giant man, but it was attached to the body of a powerful stallion. Stumbling back in terror, Victor stared up at the creature. His dark hair and beard were wildly tangled, and the reflection from the campfire had turned his black eyes a flaming angry red. The beast reared up on his hind legs, grunting fiercely, his hooves pounding the air. With a sense of panic, Victor realized he was going to charge. He tried to dive out of the way, but he wasn't fast enough. One of the beast's hooves struck him on the head, knocking him to the ground. Then the beast galloped through the fire, scattering the red-hot coals in a flurry of sparks. It flung its head back and roared as the dry grass of the plain began to catch fire. Dazed, Victor saw the creature charge toward the frantic kettle. Then the pain overcame him, and everything went black. 1,000 hooves. I think that was the biggest challenge yet, said Tom. He sat tall in his saddle as he rode from Avantia's northern mountains on his black horse Tom. His friend Alana sat behind him, as she usually did, her arms around his waist. Tom had just freed Urta the mountain giant from the evil spell of Marv, the dark wizard, and they were all tired, but Tom bravely pressed on with Silver and Alana's tame wolf, pattering quickly after them. It was mid-afternoon and the sun was strong. I thought I'd be trapped in the cave forever, Alana agreed. Urta was so angry. I'd be angry too if an evil wizard has enslaved me, Tom said. He gave a sigh of satisfaction. But Urta is free now. There will be no more trouble. Not from him, Alana pointed out. But we have a new business now. How do you think it will take to reach the central plains? Not long, said Tom. I just thought we were ready for the next test. He touched the hilt of his sword and was reminded of the challenges he had faced so far. Fernald the fire dragon, Serpent the sea dragon, Urta the mountain giant. Once more, he thought about his father, Taladon the Swift, and wondered if he would be proud of what he had achieved on this quest. He hoped so. His father had disappeared when Tom was a baby, but somehow he felt he knew him. Why, there is blood in my veins, he thought. I will not let my father down. Then he remembered that King Hugo and his advisor, King Wizard Aduro, had trusted him with the quest. He didn't want to let him down either. I know you can do it, Alana said, giving him a playful jab. And don't forget, you've got me to protect you. Tom glanced over his shoulder and smiled. I haven't forgotten. I'm really glad we met. I'd never have made it this far without you. He brought Tom to a hat and pulled out his magical map from his pocket. Alana peered over his shoulder. A glowing red line showed the road from the mountains of the north to the central plains, which were surrounded by a ridge of hills. Tiny cattle moved about on the plains, where there were rich grass for them to eat. I think we're about here. Tom pointed to the edge of the hills on the map. It can't be too far now. He put the map away and with a nudge of his heels, argued Storman. We're getting close, he said. We should keep an eye out for the next beast. Wizard Adjuro said he's a half man, half horse.
Yes.
Elena said, shivering. Tom nodded. He's attacking the cattle of the plains, on the plains. When no cattle, the people who live there will have little to eat and nothing to trade. They could starve, and so could the rest of the kingdom. Alana added anxiously. Tom tightened his grip on the reins. Tom whined, as if he knew what they... It's long, so I read on to chapter 1, okay?
Okay.
Tom patted his horse's neck. With each cast, their bond grew stronger. Soon they came to the crest of a low hill. Tom reined the instrument, looked out across the wide plains which stretched as far as he could see. He saw the long grasses swaying in the breeze. A river wound through clumps of trees. In the distance, a lake glinted in the sunlight. Silver's ear pricked up and he sniffed the air eagerly. It's beautiful, Alan exclaimed. Maybe Wizard Adjuro sent us here, but if it targets the chance to do terrible damage. Could be. Tom's heart beat quickened with hope. In the south, the crops had been burned by Inferno the fire dragon. In the west, Serpent the sea serpent had flooded the coast. Octa the mountain giant had nearly destroyed the northern mountains with landslides. Tom had almost forgotten that what ordinary peaceful countryside looked like. Look over there, he said, pointing into the distance. He could just make our scare gray towers and rooftops covered with red tiles. That must be the town. Then let's go, said Elena. Storm cantered down the hill toward the plains. Tom enjoyed the steady beat of his hoofs, sensing his horse rising in excitement. Silver let out a joyful yelp and sprang ahead of them. He disappeared into the long grass until all Tom and Elena could see of him was the tip of the tail. In the breeze, Tom could smell a hint of smoke, as if a campfire were burning nearby. He scanned the horizon to see if he could catch sight of it, but all he could see was a herd of cattle moving towards them in a thick mass. As they watched it, Tom and Elena began to sense that something was wrong. The herd wasn't working peacefully. They were stampeding. They're heading right for us, cried Tom. Silver! Elena yelled frantically. She let out a piercing whistle, and within seconds the gray wolf was bounding through the tall grass towards them. Tom kicked Storm's flanks once more, and the horse took off across the plains as the direction of the town, galloping as fast as he could,
with
the silver sprinting just behind. But the stampeding herd was gaining on them. Dust began to fill the air, and the the pounding of hooves on the hard ground was defending. Tom looked over his shoulder. The herd was much larger than he had thought. There must have been 1,000 massive animals, each the size of a large boulder. They were charging blindly, trampling anything that stood in their way. The ground was shaking under the weight. Hurry, Tom! Hurry, Storm! Tom yelled above the roar of the stampede. He bent his head into Storm's mane and could feel Alana gripping onto him as they flew across the plains towards the town. Suddenly, Storm skied to a stop. Go, Storm, keep going, they yelled. Tom yelled. We're almost there. Then he heard a crackling sound. Instantly, he knew why Storm hesitated. In front of them was a wall of fire. The dry grass of the flames had been set alight, and it was spreading swiftly. They were trapped by. That's just chapter 1, and the next I will read chapter 2. And when I'm done reading this book, and I will read apples. Okay? Bye-bye.
Bye.